Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday. A very important Monday. One day before Election Day 2024. Now, I think you've got folks that are big time, I don't know if political zealot is the right term, but they are pro-Trump and fired up about it, or they're pro-Harris and they're fired up about it. And I think everyone's looking forward to tomorrow in the sense of it's Election Day. But I think the folks I just mentioned, they're looking forward to it because it's so important to them. I think most Americans, Republicans or Democrats, are like, let's just get this thing in the friggin' rear view mirror already. It is nauseating. It is divisive. It is partisan politics at its worst. And it's just not good. It's un-American, I think. You know, Americans, our biggest strength is our cohesiveness, even when we disagree. This sort of is like, you know, I hear stuff about civil war and we're nearing the end and all this other kind of nonsense. Just crazy. American people and America, the country's a lot stronger than any two candidates running for president. And whoever wins tomorrow, we will continue on. And whoever wins tomorrow, if it's Donald Trump, he'll be done in 4 years. If it's Kamala Harris, she might be done in 4 years. And we will continue on. But boy, for me personally, and it's not just because I'm a registered independent, and it's not because I'm voting for a third-party candidate. I'm not voting for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump tomorrow. And it almost doesn't matter in Louisiana because of the Electoral College. We don't add up all the votes. Whoever gets the most votes wins. Louisiana is, last election, I think only Oklahoma had a larger percentage of the population voting for Donald Trump than Louisiana. We were number 2. And tomorrow, we assuredly will vote for Donald Trump as much as California will vote for Kamala Harris. So I'm not saying your vote is wasted. Your vote doesn't matter. Get out and vote tomorrow. I'll tell you what, the other things on the ballot are probably more important than the presidential race in this state because Louisiana is going to Trump. There's a reason Donald Trump or Kamala Harris did not come down here and campaign. And it's not because we're a smaller state. We were right in the middle. I think we're like in population, we're like 25th or 28th, something like that. We're right in the middle. Half the states in the country are larger than us in population, and about 20-something states are smaller than us in population. No, it's not because we're insignificant. It's because we're locked and loaded. We're a Trump state. We're a red state. And I've heard people go, Corey, you talked about it, a few weeks ago. Someone called and said, do we have more Republicans or Democrats? And I originally had said we have more registered Republicans, like 1.1 million to a million. It's actually the opposite. We have about 100,000 more Democrats registered in Louisiana than Republicans. But the Republicans are Republicans. The Democrats aren't full-blown Democrats. Some vote Republican a lot, especially in Louisiana. So hardcore Republicans in this state, 1 million. Hardcore Democrats, registered 1.1 million. I'd say hardcore, maybe 700,000. And there's about 400,000 that easily will vote Republican. Anyway, Election Day 2024 is tomorrow. Trump or Harris. America will decide. I'll fill you in on the final poll released, about a 3.4 plus or minus in accuracy. And I know some of you don't believe in polls. You don't believe in polls when they go against what you want. But when they go with what you say, you're like, that's a damn good poll. There are a lot of reputable polls. And the results of the poll and the results of the election prove it. They're right a large percentage of the time. And almost like Las Vegas with sports, they're like right on the number. But I'll fill you in on the 7 swing states. And an interesting statistic, 6% of voters, what's that, about 1 in 18, 1 in 19 voters, say they may change their minds walking in the booth tomorrow. 6%. That's enough to swing the election to Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Kamala. Still folks mispronouncing a presidential candidate's name to this day. Kamala. I think of like Mid-South Wrestling. I think there was Kabuki, there was Kamala. Wasn't there Kamala? I blew the dust. I mean, come on, people. You don't have to be for Harris, but at least pronounce the candidate's name right. It's just sort of silly. I'm about to do something to this microphone, but then no, I can't because it wouldn't be right. But Donald Trump did something strange to the microphone. He is a trip. I won't miss any of that. I will not miss any of that. Standard time. We had a 25-hour day yesterday. Sunday was 25 hours because when it hit 2 a.m., it immediately went back to 1 a.m. It's kind of depressing. It'll be dark in an hour. In an hour from now, it'll be dark. We need to just stay on daylight savings time full time, I think. That was like legislation passed, and it never really, I believe it was like passed either, I don't know, the House or the Senate. The other house didn't pass it, or it got stalled or whatever. There's a couple of states, Arizona and Hawaii, that just ignore it. I don't know if we should ignore it, but I'm not a fan of daylight saving, or of standard time, where in 1 hour it'll be dark. Kind of depressing, I think. Let's head to the Rouse's Markets phone lines. We got a full slate, a lot to cover besides Election Day. Saints head coach Dennis Allen fired this morning. 766-9480. Music legend Quincy Jones passing away at 91. My God, that guy touched all music. A giant. Rouse's Markets phone lines, if you'd like to participate, 766-9480. 766-9480. Andy joins us in Slidell. What up, Andy?
Ray.
How are you, man?
Oh, man. Doing all right. So here we are. I mean, we 340 million people, and we got these two jokers to pick from.
No, it's not the greatest, not the greatest election. There's no doubt about it. I'm not trying to run from it, Andy. I remember when Biden stepped down, I'm pretty consistent. I was like, I don't know if Kamala Harris was a great vice president, and that's such a weird position to begin with. I don't know who was a great vice president, but I was like, I don't know if she's presidential material, and I just think Donald Trump is just a narcissistic, egomaniacal lunatic, basically, sort of friendless. Like, who's Donald Trump's best friend, It just, not really two great choices. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm pulling a Quinn Hillier, and I'm going to vote for some third-party candidate.
Well, what I will say this, Corey, the fact that we can't get results on election night just sows doubt in the process. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, it sows doubt in the process. I just don't understand how we can't go to bed on Tuesday night, at least having a pretty good idea of who's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, the states that do it right, I guess they're already secretly counting mail-in ballots and the like. But then I guess folks are worried about if you count them early, the word will get out, and then it'll motivate voters to vote, the opposite direction or something to that effect. But no, you're right, Andy, that tomorrow night, I mean, we might know a winner. We might know a winner tomorrow night, but it may take a few more days. And then in today's political, world, especially here, it's going to be the losing side complaining for months.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little kid when that 2020 election, 2000 election, happened. I just can't imagine in this political charged environment. Can you imagine if like Donald Trump was Al Gore in that situation?
No, you got to give Al Gore credit for just sort of conceding. You know,
I'm a registered Republican, but that was just a decent human being. You know, he took it to the courts, he lost, and that was it.
Yep. No, and it was done. Exactly.
Whereas Trump's been complaining about, every court case he's lost, and he's still complaining that he lost. And look, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. I don't know who I'm voting for yet. You're going to hold my nose and vote for Trump, or see if there's another conservative. I have to look at my ballot tonight, but anyway, it's just sad. But 340 million people, and we got these two ding dongs to vote for. But
no,
that's it, Corey. I'll hang up and listen, brother.
Yeah, you're right, Andy. Thanks so much, Andy and Slidell. Trump's already sort of setting it up if he loses that it's fixed. Already talking about Pennsylvania's fixed, a lot of things like that. So, it's not going to end tomorrow night, and it's going to go on for months. The losing side's going to complain for months. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Total Maintenance keeps you TM-JC.com. Go cool spots. TM-JC.com. Go cool spots.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LaBarre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. I'm laughing. Master P and I guess the mayor and I don't know, a handful of other folks that went to Google and looked up like famous New Orleanians. They came up with a Walk of Fame. The artwork is incredible. It's this fleur-de-lis. The local artist who put it together did a great job. They're going to put these like the star, the Hollywood star, what is that? The Walk of Fame in Hollywood. It's going to be like that on Canal Street from like the river to Claiborne's. So every few feet, there'll be one of these iconic stars sunk into the sidewalk. And the artwork is incredible. They came up with a top 50, the starting 50. And it's native New Orleanians. And Drew Brees is on the list as like an exception that he's not a native. Now, who doesn't look at Drew Brees as a major, significant contributor to the city of New Orleans? I don't think anyone. You don't have to be a Saints fan or a football fan. You'd still acknowledge Drew Brees. But change the rules then that it's not native New Orleanians. I don't get it because you're kind of opening a Pandora's box when you put Drew Brees on there. And I think Drew Brees is deserving as a significant New Orleans contributor. But with that said, like Reese Witherspoon, Clyde Drexler, your boy Raising Cane's, I'm going blank on his name. Isn't that sad? He's only worth $9 billion. Everybody out there shouting it. I just can't hear you. Shout it louder. Todd Graves. There you go. You shouted it louder. I got it. Todd Graves is on it. Todd Graves is a Baton Rouge guy. I love Todd Graves. I like Raising Cane's. I think it's an incredible story. But Todd Graves isn't a major contributor to New Orleans. Neither is Reese Witherspoon. Neither is Clyde Drexler. I love Clyde Drexler. Like him as a person, class act. Loved him as a player. Great player. Hall of Famer. Not a major contributor to New Orleans. Where's like Al Hurt and Pete Fountain? They're not on the list. If you're going to have exceptions like Drew Brees, Andrew Higgins doesn't make the list. The guy Eisenhower said was, the reason we won World War II. And then the biggest insane part of this thing is, and it just shows absolutely no shame, LaToya Cantrell put herself on the top 50. Like, as an exception, she's from Los Angeles, but major contributor to the city. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I'd like to know the board, the group. Is there a board? Is there like a dozen people or so that put it together? Aaron Neville, AP Turo, Al Copeland's on the list. Was Al Copeland born in New Orleans? Maybe he was. And I guess it's Metro New Orleans because Al Copeland, and I'm not knocking Al Copeland. Popeyes, all that is significant. He's huge. He's a big New Orleans figure, but he's like an Araby, guy and lives in Metairie. Tootie Montana, Mardi Gras Indian, Anthony Mackie, the actor. I love Anthony Mackie. But Anthony Mackie's like in the middle of his career. I remember when the NBA put out a top 50 greatest NBA players of all time. Shaquille O'Neal was like year 3 with the Orlando Magic. With Orlando. Like year 3. And he was on the list because they were like, what? We don't want to embarrass ourselves in the future and not have him as a top 50 guy. When he was year 3 with Orlando, Shaquille O'Neal was nowhere near top 50 greatest NBA players. What if he blows out his knee and never plays ever again? Shaquille O'Neal's going to be a top 50 all-time NBA player? Of course not. 3 years with the Orlando Magic makes him top 50. Shaquille O'Neal obviously is top 50 now after his career, but at the time it was premature. I love Anthony Mackie, but right now, top 50 most significant native New Orleanians, that's probably a little early. Big Frida's on that list. Big Frida. I don't know. I mean, Big Frida's very well known and a major contributor to Bounce, but should Big Frida be on the list of top 50 most significant native New Orleanians in our history? Blaine Kern's on it. Brian Birdman Williams and his brother. I mean, they started, major rap label. They should be on it. Bryant Gumbel, fine. But what about his brother? Why isn't his brother on the list? Carl Weathers, I like that one a lot. Carl Weathers has a full career, passed away, should be on the list. Cedric Richmond's on the list. It's like, really? Already? It just seems a little early. Khalid, Muhammad, Khalid, the DJ's on it. That just seems a little ridiculous. Gail Benson's on it, but Tom Benson's not on it. It's just like, really? Tom Benson probably ahead of Gail Benson right now. Irma Thomas, of course. John Baptiste. Even though still a little early in his career, that's kind of on the fence. John George's businessman. I guess. I know John George's personally. Leah Chase, of course. Of course. Lil Wayne. I guess you got to put him on there. Louis Armstrong, of course. LaToya Cantrell. I mean, really? Dr. John, Mark Morial, Marshall Falk, Mahalia Jackson, of course. Mia X, very questionable. Moon Landrew, I guess. Norman Francis, of course. Aretha Castle Haley, of course. Master P, I mean, I guess Master P. Peyton Manning, Reese Witherspoon, Revis Ortigue, of course. Sidney Torres, I know Sidney personally questionable. Trombone Shorty, a little early in his career. I bet if you asked Trombone Shorty, and if he saw the list, he would name 10 or 20 musicians that should be on it ahead of him. Troy Carter already? Todd Graves, I mentioned him. Tom Benson actually is on the list. That makes sense. Tyler Perry, filmmaker. That's kind of questionable just because he's not a New Orleans contributor. He's an Atlanta contributor. Bill Goldring, Wynton Marsalis. Where's Andrew Young? If you're going to put, Andrew Young's born in New Orleans, Atlanta mayor. I don't know. Wendell Pierce, actor. Where's Patricia Clarkson? Patricia Clarkson is a bigger actress or actor than Wendell Pierce. John Goodman doesn't make the honorary list like the mayor and Drew Brees. It's just what's sad about this thing is it's Mayor LaToya Cantrell, and Master P doesn't mean any harm. But there needs to be a legitimate board, not somebody that went to Google and said most significant New Orleanians, and then this agenda-driven list of like a dozen or so others. You know what's going to happen to LaToya Cantrell's Walk of Fame placard or whatever? Someone's going to take a sledgehammer to it. And I don't want that. First off, these pieces of artwork are going to be north of $500 easily. So it's a felony if you damage it. It's public property. So it's a felony if you damage it. I can't stress enough that no one should do anything, even to LaToya Cantrell's Walk of Fame placard, but it's going to get demolished quickly. And then when she gets indicted and goes to jail, it's going to be legitimately propped up and replaced. But boy, no shame at all with LaToya Cantrell. She's under federal investigation, on the brink of being indicted, most likely facing jail time. Hired one of the best defense attorneys in the city, and she's in the top 50 most significant New Orleans people, native New Orleanians. She gets an exception like Drew Brees. LaToya Cantrell's on that list. Just literally no shame. It just yells that. I just had to laugh when I saw it. And just the list itself, I had to laugh at about 10, 12, 15 of the 50 on there. And so many like Al Hurt, Pete Fountain, Andrew Young that aren't on it. And then I mentioned good people like Reese Witherspoon, Clyde Drexler, Todd Graves, born in a New Orleans hospital, but really did nothing for New Orleans. Just kind of crazy. Brian Gubble, I guess, is news. His brother is sports, so he doesn't deserve it. I think they're twins. I don't know. Just crazy. Mayor LaToya Cantrell nonsense. She's a top 50 most significant New Orleanian because she's inept and is a criminal. I mean, that's what you want to put on there? Crazy. Saints head coach Dennis Allen fired this morning. Special teams coach, assistant head coach Darren Rizzi will take over as the interim head coach. There's a storm in the Caribbean headed to the Gulf. The target is Louisiana right now. It would be Hurricane Raphael. Would hit sometime later this week, maybe by this weekend. We'll keep you up to date on that. Hey, Troy Henry's going to join us in about 3 minutes. Demolition has started at Six Flags. Thank goodness. Brett Martell in the 5 o'clock powwow from the Associated Press, another Martell Monday. He'll fill us in on the Saints situation. And tomorrow, thank goodness, Election Day 2024. Let's put this thing in the rearview mirror. We need to stick with daylight savings time, huh? In about 45 minutes, it's going to be nighttime in New Orleans. That's just darn depressing to me. Hey, New Orleans, we're coming right back with Troy Henry of Six Flags.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Hey, Baton Rouge, Helm Paint and Decorating has been in the capital city now for over a year. They've been in New Orleans for 55 plus years. New Orleanians know, and now Baton Rouge natives are knowing where you go to paint. You don't go to the big box store to get your paint. You don't go to the national chain store to get your paint. Folks in the capital city know what New Orleanians know. When it's time to paint, you go to Helm Paint and Decorating, the painting experts. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, 4 locations in Metro Baton Rouge. Benjamin Moore high-quality paint, plus free 2-hour delivery so your crew can keep working. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. Helm Paint and Decorating, now in the capital city for over a year. For nearly 20 years, that eyesore, the former Jazzland, former Six Flags site, has sat abandoned. We get numb to the trash, the weeds, the graffiti. Folks coming in that visit our city, especially those that do it regularly, maybe business or vacation, they drive through the east coming into the city, and they're like, my God, that abandoned amusement park is still there? The abandoned amusement park is still there? For nearly 20 years, it's still there. Soon, the Mega Zeph and the other rides and whatever stuff you see sticking up from the interstate will all be gone. Troy Henry of Bayou Phoenix, the winning bidders of that site, the developers of that site, Troy Henry joins us live on the program. Troy, how you doing?
I'm good, Corey. How you been, man? Long time no hear from.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks for joining us again.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
Hey, before we get into that, you're a New Orleans businessman for decades, native. You got to be fired up. Tomorrow is ending. Yeah, I mean, what a divisive election this thing is. I mean, forget about who wins. I'm not trying to get your opinion on that, but aren't you glad, just as an American, that this thing is in the rearview mirror? I mean,
I'll be glad that the text messages will hopefully stop.
Yeah, geez.
I mean, I don't know how many I'm getting a day. I don't know if I'm on some list or something, but it just seems like they just don't stop, you know. So yeah, I'm glad it'll be over, and hopefully my candidate wins. I hope she does.
I almost want to text back and say, "How did you get my number?" And they're like, some of them even say Corey, like they know my name, they don't know how to spell it.
Right.
I'm like, where did they get this information?
I mean, so I'm like, how are they using my daughter's name on my phone? So I have no idea.
All right. Well, you I didn't even ask for the candidate you want, but yeah, Kamala Harris, huh?
Of course. Yeah, I'm a big supporter and fan of Kamala. I think she'll do good for the country.
Yep. Do we both say Kamala instead of Kamala?
Kamala. I don't know how do you say it, but that's the Miss Harris. That's the one I want.
There you go. No, I hear you. I just think it's so insulting. Like, I mean, you made a mistake, and if I just did, it was a mistake. But folks that deliberately, Kamala, I think it's some kind of racist angle. And I mean, I remember the Ugandan giant from Mid-South Wrestling. I'm just like, really? Y'all really going to call her Kamala? Really? It just shows you where politics are. No respect for the opposing side. It's not Reagan, Tip O'Neill anymore when we were kids, Troy.
Right. You're right about that, Corey. You're totally right.
It's just divisive as hell. It's un-American. Can't wait for this thing to be in the rearview mirror. Speaking of rearview mirror, demolition going on at the old Six Flags site. You guys have started, right?
Yeah, we have actually. In fact, we'll have a big event, kind of a more formal. The actual activities have begun, but we're going to have an event on the 12th, which is, I guess, next Tuesday, where we'll get all of the politicians and dignitaries out there, and we're on. I'll find out tomorrow what we're knocking down that day for them to see. But yeah, we're going to get a chance to complete the demolition, hoping to have it completely done by January is a time frame. We're hoping for the end of the year, but now we think it's going to probably linger into January.
You talking like in the next 45, 60 days, everything you want down will be down?
Oh yeah, it'll be gone. It'll be gone. We're moving forward, man. I mean, we're in fact at our event next Tuesday. We'll also announce our first anchor tenant. They'll be there, so they'll get an opportunity to sort of address everyone. And then we're in detailed negotiations now with 3 anchor tenants. It's the movie studio, the sportsplex, and the hotel. And we're in some pretty detailed discussions with the other 2 anchor tenants. The movie studio is done already. So, so it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, I saw an article about the movie studio, I think just last week in the Times pick.
It's kind of been pre-announced a little bit. That's the worst kept secret in the city there. But yeah, we're excited to work with those guys, and they've been nothing but professional, and we're looking forward to the partnership with those guys. So it's going to be cool. It'll be really cool.
Can you announce that already, or you got to hold out officially as the developer?
If you haven't seen any of the newspaper clippings and articles, I'm not going to announce it. I'm gonna they've done a little bit already though, but it's a major studio that we'll be doing business with there. So
yep,
it'll be cool.
Yep, I had the article and now I can't find it, so you're going to make me work for it. Yeah.
That way I can say I didn't announce it. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
So, but that's all right. But yeah, it's coming, Corey. It's coming on well.
Ross Movie Studio Complex.
There you go. See, you announced it. I didn't announce it. There you go.
No, I like hearing it, and it's now how much of that? What do you have? 227 acres.
Yeah, we have 227. They'll take up about 25, 26 acres. And we'll keep 60 acres in reserve. And then the other 160 acres, we will, we've got plans for it. It's part of our master plan. The youth sports complex takes up a lot of that because of the fields.
Yep.
They're pretty big.
And it's a water park with the youth sports.
Yeah,
that's all combined, right?
Well, the hotel, I think the water park is going to end up being attached, depending on which anchor we go to, in all likelihood be attached to one of the hotels.
One of the hotels. I was about to say, it's not a hotel. It could be several hotels, right?
Yeah. I mean, our plans right now are to have at least 2. One of the companies we're negotiating with wants to have actually 5 hotels on the campus. And so, it depends on which one we go with. Depends on the number of hotels that we'll have as part of the project.
And the water park's indoor and outdoor, right?
It is. Well, we're actually looking at a little different scenario where we have the indoor water park. And then, I don't know if you remember at Jazzland, we had there was that big old lagoon there.
Yep.
So that will now be a 9-acre clear water beach. So it'll be a sandy beach all the way around with clear water. You can see all the way to the bottom kind of deal.
Nice.
And there will be slides and stuff that slide into the lake and inflatables into the lake. But then you've got your indoor 365-day-a-year water park as well.
Now, and the arcade too, right?
Yeah. The Family Entertainment Center we don't consider that one of the anchors, but that'll come after we kind of determine the 3 anchors. We've already started talking to folks about the FEC. But yeah, the restaurants and the retail and the FEC, Family Entertainment Center, all of that kind of follows after you got your anchors nailed down. And we're hoping to have all the anchors nailed down. I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll have them all done.
I thought that arcade and the 24/7 365 water park indoor was genius in the sense that when we talked before, it's to free up the parents so they can get in the car and go into the French Quarter, go to the CBD, go dine at fine restaurants, that kind of stuff, right?
That's exactly right. And Corey, and remember, your next business is that babysitting.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to do some babysitting for some of those parents.
Yeah, I told you I'd get into that, but I'm not as entrepreneurial as you. I have enough trouble doing the radio television program. If I was Troy Henry, I'd have a babysitting company. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
That's right.
You're everywhere, man. You clean the airport, all kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, we got to hustle around here. You know what I mean? We're just trying to make ends meet over here at Henry Consulting and to fund some of this investment we're making on Phoenix.
No, I hear you. No, I consider myself a hustler.
We've been blessed.
I consider myself a hustler, just not the category you're in.
Oh, okay.
No, man, you just advance. But, that's that engineering degree from Stanford, right?
It doesn't hurt. Let's put it that way.
You're damn right.
Education doesn't hurt at all. In fact, our project manager for Bayou Phoenix is another fellow, Stanford alum of mine. He and I went to Stanford together. Vince Williams is his name. And he's been the guy since January that's been, behind the scenes really running the project and keeping the ball moving forward. And real proud of the job Vince is doing. So
I got a general studies degree from LSU, and I think it means I generally have problems studying. Wow.
Oh, good, Corey. Good.
Holy smokes. Troy Henry's with us. The film studio looks like a go, and you think the sports complex and the hotel, you'll get the people for that by the end of the year?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely the sportsplex. The hotel one depends on which one of the sportsplex operators we bring on board with us. 2 of the 3 of them actually bring hotels with them.
Wow.
One of them does not, and then we would kind of do a separate deal with hotels that are kind of in waiting. And so the sportsplex is the most important of all of the anchors because it's what we call the demand generator. It's the portion, it's what brings heads to beds on a regular basis.
Yep.
So once we've got that nailed down, and sportsplex operators will provide a hotel guarantee, the number of rooms they're going to guarantee, we can then take that to the hotel community. If they know they got built in 100,000 room nights a year or something like that, then it makes it a whole lot easier for them to make that investment.
Yeah, parents don't have to load up the SUV and the minivan with the kids and go to Hoover, Alabama, or to Austin, Texas.
Our goal is they can park and spend the weekend playing games and their sports, as well as having fun when they're not playing their sports, and get back in their car. In most cases it'll be Sunday night and head back home.
Yeah, no, exactly. I love it. Mm-hmm. That's what parents locally know exactly what it's about, just in reversal. Hey, Troy, right. Can you hang on one sec? We're going to take a quick break and come back and finish up.
Sure, no problem.
Troy Henry's with us, the developer of the former Six Flags site. The demolition ball's out there. They're finally starting to roll. City of New Orleans been working on this, sadly, for like 20 years. Coming right back. More with Troy Henry. Don't move, New Orleans.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's. On Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana, legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Troy Henry's with us, developer of the Six Flags site. Hey, Troy, as far as financing, is it like all in place, or it's something that happens in steps and phases? From what I understand, some of these folks that are going to be participating with you, they're putting up some of the money, right?
Yeah. Most of the venues, each venue is going to be financed differently. Depending upon which companies we end up going with, the financing strategies will vary. Most of the the only one that's the variability is really the youth sports complex. The hotels are already bringing their own dollars to the table. And then some of the other non-anchors, those will those will bring their own dollars as well. So pretty much most of it will be financed separately. There are a few items that we will be financing ourselves. So it's kind of a mixed bag of financing strategies. The city will also play a role in that as well.
Now, no offense when I say this, because I shouldn't even have to pre-limit with this. I like you. I respect you. I think you're a good guy. But there was never any talk in the beginning about a public-private partnership. Now it's mentioned all the time. Like, the city's very much involved. It just makes me wonder, would there have been other people involved in the bidding process if they knew the city was going to be financially involved? That's sort of new.
Well, Corey, in the RFP that we responded to, the city made it clear that they wanted it to be a public-private partnership. And we've just done our part to kind of helping them keep their word as it relates to that. But their role is still being defined as the venues come online, what the role the city will take on. Remember, the city is still the landowner. And right now, for example, we really thought the city should have been the one doing this demolition work, but my partners and I decided to just make that investment ourselves because we really wanted to get the ball moving. And so, but we are anticipating the city having an economic role of some sort. And as we kind of discuss that with them, we'll see what that looks like.
All right, I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but aren't there some other acreage or other acres right next door that you guys would like to acquire for other stuff, like a phase 2 or 3?
There are, yeah, sure.
You think that's going to happen?
We're not focused on it at this point in time, just because, the first 161 acres is the main campus, is what we're really focused on right now. I think we want to have flexibility as we build it out. And, if something is wildly successful and needs to expand, we'll have the ability to expand it. So that's really not a priority at this point in time for us. But we will want to secure the property, that adjacent property that, one, gives us the ability to make it a contiguous asset, but then also it gives us the ability to expand depending upon whether it's the ball fields need more space, or the studio needs more space, or the family entertainment center blows up. We just don't know what's going to go, what's going to be biggest. So yeah, it's exciting because we got so many variations that could occur as a result of this process.
Yep. Look, I'm not asking you to bash Donnie Pate. I'm bashing him. I thought it was sinful what he did post-Katrina, digging up the Eastover golf course and selling the dirt to build levees. Could have got the dirt anywhere. It was a money grab. Yep. I think he screwed over the Eastover community, a nice gated community. I went over there one day just to go look, and the guard's like, no, you can't just come in here. So I was like, all right. And they turned me around. So I was like, boy, still a, affluent gated community. Housing values probably haven't gone up the way they should because you have a big, pit in front of your, in your backyard, or not a golf course in your backyard. You've talked about redeveloping the Eastover golf course as part of this plan ultimately, right?
Yeah, it's not in our initial phase, but yes. The Eastover residents, the first priority for them is to get control of the land from Donnie Pate and the city. And then once they have control of the land, then they can in turn lease it, sell it, whatever they want to do to a developer like our team to recreate the golf course and the amenities to go with it. So they're in the Eastover board is in the process of trying their best to wrestle the property away from the city and Donnie Pate because of they're in this tax lien thing.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, so it's a lot of drama that goes with that. So we're hoping that we can be successful.
Sinful behavior by Donnie Pate. No, sir, I know people that are in lawsuits with him, and he's finagled his way out of that when they legitimately have a claim, in my opinion. Is like the clubhouse still there and boarded up, or it's gone?
It's gone. It's demolished.
Okay, I mean, at least that's a plus, better than it being boarded up.
Right. No. The slab is still there, but everything about the slab is gone.
And no tennis courts or any of that either, right?
Tennis court's still there. Swimming pool was filled in by the city with the dirt.
Yep.
So it's livable, but it's not.
It's not what it should be.
It's not what they wanted when they moved in.
Hell no, it's not. It's a sellout to all the people that own houses there. Pat Swilling doesn't own the house anymore. I call it the Pat Swilling house. Is that still there?
It's still there, but it's still not occupied, and it's still...
Is it salvageable or needs to be knocked down?
I don't know.
It's a monster.
I think it's salvageable. I think. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a structural engineer, let's just put it that way. But I just wish the owners would sell it or do something with it. You know what I mean? As opposed to just letting it sort of atrophy away. They do keep the grass cut now because we cited them and fined them for it. But it's just somebody else could do so much more with it.
Please, exactly.
I wish somebody could.
Let's give them a gold star for cutting the grass. What they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So much for small victories, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Troy, congratulations on everything. I'll try to get out there on the 12th and.
That'd be great. Of course, 11 o'clock on the 12th, and anybody can come. Just take the Michoud exit. Michoud entrance.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Troy, a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Corey, take care.
That's Troy Henry, developer of the old Six Flags site. Demolition going on as we speak. That's good news. I'm Blue Boy. All right, buddy. What? 5 o'clock powwow is next. A whole slew of topics. Blue Boy's right. Don't move.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce. The economic engine moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. What's going on outside? That sun's dropping out the sky. It's about to be nighttime in like 15 minutes. What the hell? What the hell? It's standard time. We need to stay on daylight savings full time. Right, Drew Brees? Because it's what? Where? Metairie? St. Bernard? No, it's... Yes, New Orleans. No, I do not like standard daylight time, whatever. I like the, where it gets dark. Getting dark at like 6 is early enough. But this 5:15 thing, slightly depressing. I read something over the weekend that it affects people's health. The getting dark early thing. Farmers have big lights on their John Deere tractors. They can get out there early and plow the field before the sun comes up. Anyway, just no need for it. Boy, speaking of crazy, like nighttime coming in 10 minutes, how about this crazy November weather? Winter is nowhere in sight for New Orleans. Winter is nowhere in sight. The next 10 days, 70s to start the day, 80s in the afternoon, like getting into the mid-80s, like almost hot. I was about to walk Tolley yesterday afternoon. I was like, Tolley, buddy, we're going to wait an hour. The sun's out and it's hot out there. Don't feel like sweating through my shirt. And you don't need to be panting, right? He said, you're right. Let's chill a while. But boy, this weather is absolutely crazy. October was one of the greatest weather months ever. You just figured we'd have a continuation of it, even cooler temperatures in November, but And it's steady. It's every day. Start in the 70s, creep into the 80s every day for the indefinite future for like the next week and a half. A storm is in the Caribbean headed to the Gulf and possibly Louisiana. Tropical storm Raphael, or a tropical storm, I guess that will be Hurricane Raphael. Good thing that there is lower humidity. Also, weather coming from the north, even not like a cold front, and the Gulf's not quite as hot as it was a month or two ago, like in summertime. So I don't think it's going to be like a hurricane hitting Louisiana by the end of the week, but it could be, some rain and wind. I'm not too nervous or worried about it. I'm just sort of like, damn, it's November and still another hurricane could be coming our way. But it shouldn't be too severe. And hopefully the thing just fizzles out before it comes to Louisiana. It goes from, tropical storm, hurricane back to tropical storm. Election Day 2024 is tomorrow. Thank God, huh? Very few people, I think, are like, oh boy, I wish the campaigns could go on a lot longer. Sad it's ending. So divisive, really un-American in my opinion. Trump or Harris, America will decide. The final polls are out, about a 3.5 point, margin of error. Michigan, Harris 50%, Trump 48%. Georgia, Trump 50%, Harris 49%. North Carolina, Trump 49%, Harris 48%. Pennsylvania, Trump 49%, Harris 48%. Arizona, Trump 50%, Harris 48%. Nevada, Wisconsin tied at 48 each. with a 3.5-point margin of error. Michigan, Harris by 2. Georgia, Trump by 1. North Carolina, Trump by 1. Pennsylvania, Trump by 1. Arizona, Trump by 2. Nevada, Wisconsin tied. Those 7 swing states, it is a literal toss-up in each and every one of them. Reportedly, Iowa has Kamala Harris leading in Iowa now, which is unprecedented. We'll see. You know, Harris folks are embracing it. Trump folks thinks the poll's nonsense. 6% of voters, what's that, like 1 in 18, 1 in 19 voters? 6% of voters say they may change their minds when they get to the poll. They may change their minds. And then you still have a percentage probably equal to 6% right up until now that are sort of undecided. They're leaning one way, but not have officially decided. This thing could go either way tomorrow. And whichever side loses, they're going to complain. And whichever side loses, they could be complaining for months. And will we know who the president is tomorrow night come January? Maybe. I'd say there's a better chance we won't. It might be Wednesday or Thursday before we know. And then there'll still be states still tabulating votes, and then, you know, folks saying voter fraud and all this nonsense. The last election, objective, fair experts that don't have a stake in the game, don't care who the president is, say it was the most secure election in American history. Mayor Cantrell truly has no shame at all, just relentless, belligerent, just doesn't stop. She hired one of the best defense attorneys in the city. She's under federal investigation. Chances are much better than not she is going to be indicted any day now, and chances are better than not that she's going to go to jail. She's going to be found guilty. She gets with Master P, and no, problem with Master P. They come up with a walk of fame. I don't know whose idea it was. I like the idea. I love the artwork. You can go to my Twitter and check out the artwork at Corey Johnson or 46826, NOLA.com. Any news organization in the city media outlets got it. Beautiful artwork. It's like the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame with the actors, actresses, musicians, and the like. It's like that. I guess like 2 feet by 2 feet roughly. A square. It's a fleur-de-lis, multicolored, like stained glass. It's beautiful. And it's got top 50 native New Orleanians, most influential native New Orleanians. And then right off the bat, Drew Brees is on that list, like as an exception. Who would be opposed to that? Drew Brees is a hero. He is beloved. He's done so much for New Orleans. So much for the citizenry of New Orleans, putting New Orleans on the map with the Saints, Super Bowl win, just millions and millions of dollars in indirect advertising and the like. But when you put Drew Brees on there, you're opening a Pandora's box where non-natives will be on that list, like LaToya Cantrell. She puts herself on the top 50 most influential New Orleanians. She will have a plaque on this Walk of Fame for New Orleans, LaToya Cantrell. Just no shame. No Pete Fountain, no Al Hurt, but LaToya Cantrell. It's mind-blowing. There's about another 15 people on that list that it's a little premature at the very least. A little premature at the very least. Like there's time for them to be on the list. I remember the NBA put out a top 50 all-time NBA players. Shaquille O'Neal was like third year with the Orlando Magic, wasn't even with the Lakers yet. And they put him on the list, anticipating he'd be on it. And they happened to be right. After his career was over, he is a top 50 NBA player. He's top 10 NBA player, you know? But when he was third year with Orlando, he was nowhere near top 50. He blows out his knee. It just makes the list, kind of not legitimate. The mayor putting herself on the list makes it not legitimate. And I'm not saying don't put Drew Brees on it, but You got to walk a very fine line if you're going to put non-natives on there. Where's Andrew Higgins? If Drew Brees is on it, Andrew Higgins, maybe not as the same pop and sizzle, especially today. But, you know, the Higgins boat, Eisenhower said, the one individual that maybe won World War II, just come on. There's a bunch of other non-natives you could come up with that are Drew Brees, Andrew Higgins-like. And like Andrew Higgins, they're nowhere near the list. And how is Al Hurt or you know, Pete Fountain not on that list? But Mia X is on the list, but not Al Hurt and Pete Fountain. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It is agenda driven. I'd like to know the board. Was there a board that decided this, or did LaToya Cantrell, and I'm not knocking Master P, they go to Google and significant New Orleanians and then put the list together with some of them and then add folks that they had an agenda to add to the list? Todd Graves from Raising Cane's is on it. Reese Witherspoon, Clyde Drexler. They spent about 15 minutes in New Orleans, born here and then beelined out of Dodge. And I like all three of them. I think they're significant, but should they be on the top 50 most influential native New Orleanians list? But the most egregious is LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell putting herself on the list. Just friggin' mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Just no shame at all. She deserves to be indicted. She deserves to go to jail. She is one pathetic human being. Is there a pathetic human being Walk of Fame in New Orleans? She'd be the star.
Treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive complex is something called Quick Lane. tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's called more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
I don't know if he's like the number one mover, but he might be the most significant contributor to music, period. Quincy Jones, music legend, icon, passing away at 91 years old. Quincy Jones. He did it all. He played multiple instruments. He wrote hundreds of songs. He produced thousands of songs and albums and records and concerts. From Michael Jackson, who I'd rather not mention. It's like Woody Allen. I don't listen to Michael Jackson music anymore just because I think about Michael Jackson's legacy and the kids. I don't watch. I wasn't a big fan of Woody Allen to begin with, believe it or not. Don't watch any Woody Allen because of the kids. Just crazy what Woody Allen did. Crazy. Married to Mia Farrow, they adopt a young girl, and he ends up hooking up with her at like age 15 or 16. Woody Allen should be in jail right now. Woody Allen should be in jail right now. But, Hollywood and those types, it's just, hey, let's look the other way. Such a big talent, that Michael Jackson, that Woody Allen. Let's look the other way. Forget about the kids. Let's look the other way. Just crazy. But from Michael Jackson to Frank Sinatra to Ray Charles. And Quincy Jones played trumpet, piano, saxophone, multiple instruments. He could do it all. Toured with Count Basie and Lionel Hampton. Arranged records from like Sinatra to Ella Fitzgerald. 28 Grammys. 28. When Grammys actually meant something. 2 Academy Awards, an Emmy. Quincy Jones, I don't know if he's like the first mover of music, but maybe the most significant contributor to music worldwide, modern music worldwide, Quincy Jones. Just amazing. Touched so many lives, influenced so much music. I mean, pretty much any music that you listen to, even a lot of stuff in the last decade or so, Quincy Jones might have something to do with it, indirectly at least. Passing away at 91 years old. What a full life that guy lived. Hey, every day we broadcast live on the radio, on television, live on YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do it live from the Buddy Deliberto Total Maintenance Studios. Total Maintenance. Your honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. That's what you need in an AC and heating operation, right? You want honest folks. I don't know if you're like me. I don't want to learn about air conditioning and heat. I want someone I can unequivocally trust. I want air conditioning and heating experts, not guessing, replacing parts, hoping it fixes the problem. I want the problem fixed right away. I want folks that can diagnose it, experts. And I want them coming immediately. My AC's not working. My heat's not working. I'm stressed. I'm uncomfortable. That's what you get with Total Maintenance. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, on the North Shore, South Shore, West Bank, Capital City. Think Total Maintenance when you need AC or heating help. Total Maintenance. Their website, tm-ac.com. Total Maintenance, tm-ac.com. That's all you need to know. Yeah, when you need air conditioning or heat help, think Total Maintenance. Your ace in the hole in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. It is a Monday afternoon edition of the program. Nighttime outside right now. Bummer. No, it is. I don't like this, standard time. I want daylight savings time full time. 6 o'clock, 6:15, getting dark in winter. That's enough for us, right? This 5:15 thing is depressing to me. I mean, take a peek outside. It's already dark outside, and it's 5:25. I don't know. There's just something fundamentally wrong with that, and it's totally unnecessary, and a lot of lawmakers agree. It's time for the country just to stay full-time on daylight savings time, not this standard time we're on now. I think Arizona and Hawaii just ignore it. Arizona and Hawaii ignore it. You want to know what's kind of funny? I'm assuming this is just Iran being like belligerent, like we're not going to follow the rest of the world, the Western world. I saw a report from Israel, and it was like 4:06 a.m. And then Iran time, it was a split screen, 4:36 a.m. Like they're not an hour different, they're 30 minutes different. And I think Iran and Israel may be in different time zones. I'm not sure, but it would be an hour difference, not 30 minutes. But I swear, I think Iran, my opinion, they're just like, we're not going with the Western time, the Western clock. We're doing our own thing. We're moving at 30 minutes, not an hour. Just crazy. Anyway, I don't like this early nighttime thing. It's depressing. I don't go into like some funk. Thank goodness I'm not depressed, but it ain't fun. It ain't nothing nice. Speaking of nothing nice, this is a great idea. The artwork's incredible. This Walk of Fame idea for the most significant native New Orleanians. The first list is 50 people strong. And there are just so many people on the list that it's like, at the very least, let's say premature. Aaron Neville, not premature. Should be on that list. A.P. Turo, not premature. Al Copeland, I guess so. Alan Toussaint for sure. Tootie Montana for sure. I love Anthony Mackie, the actor. That might be a little premature. And I'm not saying he hasn't accomplished a lot. He's like in the middle of his career. He's taken off like a rocket ship just like the last decade. And there's no Patricia Clarkson. That's the number one actor out of New Orleans. Patricia Clarkson, the redhead. She's been doing it for 40 years, significant films. Tootie Montana, Mardi Gras Indian, that's great. Archie Manning, great. Avery Johnson, I'm fine with that. Big Frida, it's like, really? Big Frida's on the top 50 most significant native New Orleans list already? Premature. Blaine Kern, Mr. Mardi Gras, yes. Birdman Williams and his brother Slim, was that Cash Money Records? I mean, that was 30 years ago. So, I mean, you could argue they should be on the list. Bryant Gumbel, sure. But how about his twin brother? Because he does sports, it's less significant. Carl Weathers, lifetime actor, passed away, sure. Cedric Richmond, politician. I see Cedric Richmond out on the English Turn golf course, man. He's like my age. It's like, really? Most significant already? I mean, Clyde Drexler. I love Clyde Drexler. He was born here, has no ties to New Orleans at all. Most New Orleanians like Clyde Drexler's from New Orleans. I thought he was from Texas. That's where he moved to quickly. Khalid, the DJ, Muhammad Khalid. Really? Already? Ridiculous. Fats Domino, of course. Gail Benson, Tom Benson, sure. Harry Connick Jr., sure. Irma Thomas, of course. John Baptiste, probably so. John Georges, I know John personally. It's just like there's a lot of great businessmen in the city. Owns the Times-Picayune. I'm not knocking John Georges, but already probably premature. Leah Chase, of course. Lil Wayne, probably so. Louis Armstrong, of course. LaToya Cantrell, honorary inductee. One of two honorary inductees. Just no shame. She is in a top 500 most significant New Orleans, unless you want deviant criminal, Junket Cantrell. Just a nightmare. She's under federal investigation, probably going to be indicted, probably going to jail. She just has no shame. It's not an objective list. She's part of it. She's part of the process. Hey, y'all, let's put me on it. She's insane. The woman is absolutely insane. This just proves it. And I said it last hour. Someone takes a sledgehammer to that panel on Canal Street when it's put down. That's a felony. Plus, it's north of $500, a felony. It's public property. It's a felony. I don't recommend anyone do that, but that's what's going to happen. And then when she's indicted and goes to jail, they're going to prop it up and have to replace it. But she just has no shame putting herself on that list. And as an honoree person, because she's not a native, she's from Los Angeles. Dr. John, of course. Mark Morial. I guess so. I'd have Dutch on there, but Mark, I'd be, I just think about the most corrupt, mayoral administration in the city's history. And you can love Mark Morial. And I know a lot of black people in New Orleans do, because there aren't a lot of black heroes in New Orleans. There was discrimination there still is today. And it was worse and it was overt, in segregated times. I get it. But like him or not, Mark Morial. I think Mark Morial isn't in New Orleans anymore, and you never hear from Jacques, because I think the feds made a deal with them. Get out of New Orleans. Don't have any significance with politics. Don't endorse politicians. Get out of the city, and we won't indict you. And Mark moved to New York and became president of the Urban League, and you never, ever hear from him anymore. Marshall Faulk, yeah, I guess so. Mahalia Jackson, of course. Mia X, really? No Pete Fountain, no Al Hurt, but Mia X is on the list? This is a fair, objective list? Please. Moon Landrew, sure. Norman Francis, Dr. Norman Francis, of course. Aretha Castle-Haley, of course. Master P, he's part of the process. Probably shouldn't have put himself on the first top 50. Go in the next group that comes in, or the group after that. Peyton Manning, of course. Reese Witherspoon. Todd Graves from Raising Cane's. Clyde Drexler. They were born in a New Orleans hospital and basically moved away right away. To kind of claim them as our own is sort of, Todd Graves is a Baton Rouge guy. Baton Rouge Walk of Fame. And I like Todd Graves. I'm not against him. And I like Reese Witherspoon. I think she's sweet and a good actor. And Clyde Drexler is a class act, great guy, and a Hall of Fame NBA player. But they don't really have ties to New Orleans in the least bit. In the least bit. Troy Carter. That's like Cedric Richmond. It's like, really? Tyler Perry? He's sort of like Todd Graves. Tyler Perry's born here, and he just beelined out of Dodge. He lives in Atlanta, built a film studio in Atlanta, is an Atlanta guy, If you're going to have Tyler Perry, where's Andrew Young? Former U.S. ambassador, former Atlanta mayor, native New Orleanian, civil rights icon, marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, all of that. You got Tyler Perry on, but you don't have Andrew Young? Wendell Pierce, actor. I like Wendell, but I would say, how is he on the list and Patricia Clarkson's not on the list? Bill Goldring, sure. Wynton Marsalis, sure. It's just not 12 board members with no agenda except trying to be fair and objective. It's a very agenda-driven list. They tried to legitimize it by putting, maybe half the people are totally legitimate, and then the others are major question marks. Definitely an agenda here. Drew Brees is on it. He's not a native New Orleanian. I love Drew Brees like everybody else. You want to have an exception for him? Sure, but then you open a can of worms. It doesn't become native New Orleanians. But then Drew Brees is definitely ahead of Reese Witherspoon, Todd Graves, and Clyde Drexler, who were born here. But Mayor LaToya Cantrell is the most egregious. She has no shame at all. It's pathetic. It really is. It's laughable. No, someone's going to take a sledgehammer to that. And I don't want to see that. You deserve to be caught on video and arrested and go to jail for doing it. But that's what's going to happen. That thing's going to be spray painted over at the least, if not bashed in by a lead pipe or sledgehammer. And then when she is indicted and goes to jail, it's going to be propped up and thrown in the garbage and replaced by Pete Fountain or Al Hurd or Andrew Young or something like that. Anyway, no, you need a board of about a dozen, maybe 20 people, black, white, few Latinos on there, some Honduran folks on there. Is there a Honduran on that list? I mean, where's, if you're going to have exceptions to non-natives, where's like the Banana Man, Zamuri, the guy from United Fruit? Where's Andrew Higgins? I know he's from Nebraska, but the Higgins boat? You got to have them if you're going to have Drew Brees. And I'm not against Drew Brees, but my God, Zamuri and, Andrew Higgins are bigger than Drew Brees as far as contributors to New Orleans, or at least as big. Anyway, just a crazy. I like the idea of the Walk of Fame. I love the artwork. It's going to be all up and down Canal Street. But the mayor in there is pathetic. And like Pete Fountain and Al Hurd aren't on it, but Mia X is. That's just crazy. No, it's just folks with an agenda. Folks with an agenda. It's sad. No, there's not anybody, no Vietnamese, no Honduran. They need to be on the board. Black and white folks that care and are civic-minded and don't have an agenda. Like me, I'd be someone great to be on that board because I would be scrutinizing it. I wouldn't be putting, people on that are premature or not deserving. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, Shaquille O'Neal. The NBA did a top 50 all-time greatest NBA players. They put Shaquille O'Neal on the list when he was year 3 with the Orlando Magic. He wasn't a top 50 NBA player when he was year 3 with the Orlando Magic. I bet if I interviewed Shaquille O'Neal and asked him, he would be in agreement with me. But they're worried about what the list will look like in the future. Add him later. Enlarge the list. I don't know what to tell you, but don't anticipate. He blows out his knee the very next week. He's not going to be top 50 all-time player. Anyway, that's what you get when LaToya Cantrell has a lot of sway on this. What does she think that's going to do? Like legitimize her? Keep the feds away? Oh, she's on the New Orleans Walk of Fame. Don't indict her. Just beyond lame. Beyond lame. I needed to get my extra protein. I went to Jay and his dad's Smoothie King. All Smoothie Kings aren't the same. Far from it. Experience the best. Mixing your smoothie right every time, consistently. I go to other Smoothie Kings. They don't open when they say they're supposed to be open. They close early. I'm watching them mix my smoothie. I'm like, isn't it supposed to be 2 scoops of protein? Oh, yeah. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I go into Jay's Smoothie King and his dad. They have 2 of them. The Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway across from Oshner, and the Smoothie King on Airline, the old Metairie Smoothie King. Airline at LaBar by Causeway, by that Rouse's. Yeah, not all Smoothie Kings are the same. Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. The old Metairie Smoothie King, Airline at LaBar by the Rouse's. Doing you right. Boy, some crazy November weather. Winter nowhere in sight. The next 10 days, 70s to start the day, fading into the mid-80s every day. Crazy. And now we have a tropical storm in the Caribbean, Tropical Storm Raphael, headed to the Gulf and possibly Louisiana. Louisiana is the number 1 spot for it right now. And these models have been getting pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. You remember when the storm that hit Florida 6 weeks ago? It was in the Caribbean. They had it hitting Florida. You look at the American and European spaghetti models, like 95% of them are all going into the same spot. I wouldn't bet against it. But hopefully with, kind of not cooler Gulf temperatures, but not as hot. And, weather patterns coming from the north. It is expected to greatly diminish the storm. I don't want to say nothing to worry about, but almost nothing to worry about. Speaking of storms, it all ends tomorrow. Well, kind of. Election Day 2024 is tomorrow. We all vote by tomorrow. A lot of folks voted early. Everybody else that wants to vote, will vote tomorrow on the corporal's birthday. Hey, dude, don't announce that publicly. He doesn't speak like that, by the way. That was just like high-pitched voice because he's upset. I'm putting him in the spotlight.
I thought it was uncanny.
You thought it was pretty accurate?
You got a talent for it. You should go into voice acting.
I do some good voice stuff. I do a great Jodine, but no one knows who Jodine is anymore. And I do the old storyteller pretty good. The old guy like, hey, we're around the campfire. You got the beans going, Jimmy? I got that guy down all right. And Jodine was a old LSU basketball player and athletic director. Off the bank board. String music. By golly. When I was in Baton Rouge, in my early days, I did sports talk for like 6 months in Baton Rouge, and then I've been in New Orleans doing this stuff since like the early 90s, 92. They had this morning show. It's like on from like, I think maybe 7 to 9, 7 to 10, and I was on 10 to noon. That's where I first started, 10 to noon. And this guy would do trivia. And it was like, who's the number one free throw shooter in the NBA last season? And it was like Mark Price. This is 30 years ago, like 91%. And he would go, let's go to the phone lines. It's Joe in Baton Rouge. And hey, it's Jodine, former LSU athletic director. And the show host would just go with it, but he didn't have a sense of humor, was kind of bummed. And he'd be like, okay, what are you calling for, Joe? I'm ready to answer your trivia, damn it. And he'd be like, all right, number one NBA free throw shooter. I'm like, by golly, it's got to be Charlie Alexander. And the host would be like, the running back from LSU in the late 70s, if he played in the NBA, damn it, he'd be the number one free throw shooter. Click, hang up on me. And then this is the best part of the story. 6 months later, I get a gig in New Orleans. And I'm walking into the studio from the parking lot. It was WIBR, 1300 AM, doesn't even exist anymore. The studio was at the transmitter site in Port Allen in a cow pasture. There was the transmitter building, and right next to it was the cinder block building with the studio. The guy doing the morning show's walking out. I'm walking in, and he was like, oh, hey, man, heard you got the New Orleans job. Good for you. And I said, that's right. I got the New Orleans job. And I did my Jodine. Back then, there was no internet or anything. He had this like cardboard box just full of all these books, sports magazines. He slams the box on the ground where it breaks open and all the magazines go to it. Just livid that I was the Jodine guy, It's like, yeah, I guess it's unprofessional. I'm a fellow talk show host, but I'm fledgling. I'm 3 months into the gig, dude, and just having a little fun, relax a little, laugh a little. It's like, man, he's like looking at the ground. He's kind of bummed I got the gig a little, kind of like an insecure, jealous type guy, I guess. I mean, he was a nice guy. It's just harmless. But he's like, hey, man, yeah, I heard you going to New Orleans. Like, that's right. I'm heading to New Orleans. He's like, he just looks at me like, I go, yeah. And he's just like, he's pissed. Oh, boy. I found it funny. Maybe I'm the only one. Damn it. Charlie Alexander played in the NBA to have the number one free throw shooter. Oh, and then this is not right. I deserve to be struck by lightning on this one. I'm going to tell the story. I was a kid, all right? I don't find all that funny. There was this program, LA Law, and I don't even know if I should tell this story, Corporal.
That's always a great
They had
way to start off.
a mentally challenged guy on the show. Yeah, and I would call sometimes trivia. His trivia, it'd be like, let's go to Benny in Baton Rouge. And then I'd call up with a pretty good imitation of the mentally challenged guy. And then all my answers would be like Jimmy Smits, that actor. He was Victor Sequentes on the show as a lawyer. And, of course, my answer would be Victor Sequentes. And then I don't even know what the girl's name is, but she used to be on the Partridge Family, and she was a lawyer. And my other answer would be, okay, if it's not Victor Sequentes, it's the girl from the Partridge Family, but doing it in the mentally, challenged guy's voice. Yeah, I know. I hear you, Corporal. I probably shouldn't have told that part of the story. Dude, I was 23, I was an idiot. I mean, I'm throwing the flag up. I was an idiot. I was a child. I was a moron. I was an immature 23-year-old, obviously. I'm calling a talk radio show when I'm doing that and using fake voices to answer trivia. But I thought it was harmless and funny. I just didn't realize, or maybe I did realize the guy had absolutely no sense of humor. And maybe that was part of the reason I did it. I have no idea. It was a jerk move. I'm admitting it. What the hell? I've grown up a little bit. Muy poquito. Just a little bit. Thank God tomorrow is Election Day 2024, huh? Trump or Harris, America will decide. And then the loser, I guess, they're going to be complaining for weeks and months. I don't know if tomorrow night, 50-50 chance we know who's president tomorrow night, 50-50 at best. Might be Wednesday or Thursday. We got to tabulate all the votes in these other states. Saints head coach Dennis Allen fired this morning. Brett Martell's going to join us in just a minute or two and fill us in on what's going on with the Saints. Hey, best quality, best price, best selection. You know what I'm talking about already, Rouse's Markets. You're in your car, beelining home from work. You might pass 1, 2, 3 Rouse's Markets on the way home. They're everywhere. Over 65 Rouse's Markets. 1/3 of all Rouse's are in Metro New Orleans. It truly is New Orleans grocery store. Clearly the most popular New Orleans grocery store, and it's not even close. About 1 out of 6 New Orleanians, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5 shop at Rouse's Markets regularly. It's their go-to grocery store. I mean, think how many grocery stores there are in New Orleans, different named grocery stores. Got to be, I mean, when it's standalones included, my God, there must be 30, 40, 50 grocery stores in New Orleans. Rouse's is clearly number one. Clearly number one. No, it truly does taste like home. You know where, Rouse's Markets.
Over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning for over 80 years, 84 years going on 85. If you want to experience the best dry cleaner in the business, tired of your dry cleaner, youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com. I love dealing with the best. The old ace in the hole. Yes, as I've gotten older, more experience, you kind of jettison the bad stuff. You embrace the great stuff. Young's Dry Cleaning, the great stuff. youngsdrycleaning.com. Election day is tomorrow. Thank you, Jesus. Thank God. Thank you. Saints head coach Dennis Allen fired this morning. Special teams coach, assistant head coach Darren Rizzi will take over the team on an interim head coaching basis. That's the big news of the day. The Carolina game was tough. First off, Carolina is the worst team in the NFL. A couple of things just stood out for me where, and I'm not, I like Dennis Allen, and I'm not like, hey, fire people. I don't take that, say things like that lightly. But at halftime, when the Saints were running the ball instead of throwing it downfield to get a field goal or extra points. And then when Alvin Kamara ripped off a big run and they didn't call timeout with like 32 seconds left, 34 seconds, and let the clock run down. And then when they did call timeout, it was like 2 seconds left. And just that was mind-blowing to me. And then at the end of the game, when they were down by 1, trying to get in a field goal range to win it, they had a 4th and 4, and they threw a fade route down the sideline. I mean, fade routes for like 1st and 2nd down. You throw in like a floater, hope the guy runs under it. I'm not saying it's a bad play, but it's for certain situations. On a 4th and 4, you want to throw a bullet. You want to throw something fast, hard, and direct. Not some fade route floater where hope my guy catches it, hope we fooled the defense. You want some quick in or out. Something over the middle, sideline, a zip pass, something with velocity. No, those kind of plays, I think, and then losing overall, I think that was the end for Dennis Allen. Brett Martell joins us from the Associated Press. How you doing, Brett?
Good. How are you, Corey?
Doing well. I was just mentioning the halftime, going into halftime, not calling the timeout with like 34 seconds left. The end of the game with the fade route on 4th and 4 instead of like some zip pass, like a bullet at 5, 6, 8 yards to get the first down, and then losing to the worst team in the NFL. Those things, I think, were the end for Dennis Allen. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've discussed this before. That I think the Saints, they really liked him. It was clear in their statements today that they really liked him personally.
Yep.
They loved his character, his knowledge of the game, and his loyalty to the organization. And they were constantly looking for reasons not to fire him.
Yep.
And a win would have been a reason. It would have, even though they would have been speaking, the wins would have been against the worst team in the league. They would have been, 3 games behind Atlanta with 8 games to go, playing Atlanta this weekend. If you win again, now you're 2 games behind, 7 games left, and there's still like a glimmer of hope. But
yep.
They, the way they kind of fell apart and lost from ahead, if you will, late in the game, and how all those mistakes came back to haunt them against a team that has struggled to beat anybody.
Yep.
Even with the quarterback, being back in the lineup, I think it's too much to overcome for them. So now they're moving on to Darren Rizzi, who's in kind of a weird spot.
Yeah, the interim head coach job. I mean, how do you turn that down? Because it could lead to the head coaching job. Depends on how he performs. It's unlikely. They'll probably do a search. I would think go outside the organization. Do you think they'll go outside the organization, or are they going to bring, bring in somebody? Are they, and then coupled with Brett, do they tear this whole thing down and start over again?
Yeah, I think, they're going to have to decide that over the next few weeks. You would think that, the trade deadline tomorrow, you think there'd be sellers at the trade deadline, and that Rizzi is kind of, his assignment would be, look, you're still trying to win, but we're going to try to win with guys we're developing, and we're going to give them more snaps and see how they handle it. So we'll know, we'll have a strategy for the off season. And ideally, not worry so much about wins and losses for the rest of the year, knowing that if we're developing guys, that's kind of a win, even if we lose, because that sets them up better for next year. We might have better draft picks, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
I think no one's really trying to tank games in the NFL because so many careers are at stake. But what I think they do when they're on the same page is, if they're in a situation where they're looking long term, is that they just the more expensive guys that are veterans, they make plans to part ways with them, and the less expensive, unproven guys who might have a higher upside and be younger, to give them more of a chance to want to keep them around or go in another direction. And so sometimes that leads to losses because you're taking a risk with the unproven people, but you're still trying to, of course, the game because they have that.
Yep.
So, I think it's too early to tell. I think they're going to try to win this week, and then maybe, take it from there.
Yep. Hey, Brett, literally about 10 seconds. Every coach, I would imagine, wants to be a head coach. Some coaches know their limitations and maybe realize they're not head coaching material. Dennis Allen's a coordinator, I think, not a head coach, right?
Probably. He ended up in two very unlucky situations, dysfunctional in Oakland and kind of a cap hamstrung post-Drew Brees era Saints.
Yep.
So he never really had it going for him. Look, he's the third worst winning percentage, I think, all time of coaches who have coached 75 games. So the odds of him getting a coaching gig are very, very slim.
Yeah, no, those are good points. He was in kind of no-win situations. But he'll be a D coordinator again. Brett Martell of the Associated Press, thanks so much. That's Blue Boy. Yeah, it's nighttime already with the standard time kicking in. Just make it daylight savings time full time. 6:15 getting dark is enough. This 5:15 thing stinks. See you tomorrow at 4.
On the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM. WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.